Why salt disappears in water and the milk appears cloudy, while the mud water or chalk powder settles down eventually at the bottom of the flask? Have you ever wondered these kind of questions? Aren't you curious to know the science behind this? So dear class 9 students, today we are going to get the answers to these questions. We are going to solve the mystery of these questions, right? So our main topic for today is types of solutions. What is our topic for today? That is types of solutions. And based on these solutions only, the questions were related that I asked you. You will definitely get to know the answers by yourself only, right? So be with me. So what are the types of solution? And with the type of solution, we are also going to study one very interesting topic. That is Tyndall Effect. But this topic you are going to understand only after having a very nice and deep knowledge of the types of solution. But always remember, you might think that the types of solution is a very easy topic. Also, I'd also agree that it is. But Tyndall Effect is also a very easy topic. Even it is only a theoretical topic. But Tyndall Effect is very important from the exam point of view also. First of all, we will get to know. First of all, we will study about the types of solution. That is, first is our true solutions. Second is suspension. Third is colloids. So these three types of solution we are going to study. We will also see the characteristic feature of these through the experiment, through the full illustration. I will make you understand these three types of solutions, and after these three types of solutions, we will study a very important and basic phenomena of these types of solutions, that is Tyndall Effect. Actually, Tyndall Effect is a phenomena of light. It is a property of a scattering of light. So till the end, you will get to know about these three things, right? So without wasting our much time, let's begin with the topic, right? So let's go. So now, let us begin with understanding the three types of solution in detail, and after that we will understand the Tyndall Effect. So, the three types of solution, as you already know, are true solutions. Can you get any idea of true solution from the name as it suggests? Its name is very simple. Most of the properties are related or are understandable through its name only. Then we have second is our suspension. The third is the colloids. Right? Actually, there are mainly only two types of solutions. That is homogeneous and heterogeneous. Based on these two types of solutions, we have classified these three types of solutions. The main classification of types of solution is actually homogeneous and heterogeneous solution. So as the name justifies, homo means uniform. Homo means uniform. And hetero means non-uniform. So homogeneous solution are the uniform solution. Heterogeneous solution are the non-uniform solution. Now in these three types of solutions that are in our syllabus, only true solution are the homogeneous solution, right? Only true solution are the homogeneous solution. and our heterogeneous solution are further of two types. That is our suspensions and colloids. Now one by one we will understand the difference. We will first of all understand that what is true solution, what are the characteristics of true solution. Then we will understand that on what basis this heterogeneous solution is classified into suspension as well as colloid. Now I will tell you what is homogeneous solution and what is heterogeneous solution, right? So let's go. So now let us study in detail that what is homogeneous and what is heterogeneous. As I told you that homo means uniform. So the solution which is uniform throughout, right, means in which you can't see the components that are mixed. Solutions are what? Solutions are mixture. So in mixture definitely you are mixing at least two things, right? If even you can mix more than two things definitely, but at least two kind of compounds or substances must be present in that solution. So true solution are those solutions in which you can't identify the components of that mixture. Means if you are mixing these two solutions, right? If you are mixing these two solutions, and if these two solutions are making a homogeneous solution, these two substances, suppose that this is A, this is B. Now you have mixed these, right? You have mixed these. Now a new solution is formed, final solution. It will be totally homogeneous. Now you can't identify which are the particles in this solution that are taken from A solution and which are the particles from B substance, right? You can't identify. It is uniform throughout and the new solution C is formed. You can't distinguish in a homogeneous solution that what are the initial components that are mixed to make this uniform or homogeneous solution. Now guess the example of homogeneous solution and write in the comment section the example of homogeneous mixture, right? I want the answer of this question, right? Now what are heterogeneous? The vice versa, right? The vice versa. If you are mixing these two types of solution, right, you will get a new final solution, but now you can see the components of initial substance very clearly. See, you can clearly identify that what are the substances in this final solution taken from A and what are taken from B. Which substances are taken from B and which substances are taken from A. And this final solution C is formed. But you can clearly identify what are the initial substances that are mixed to make the final solution. This is not uniform. This is not homogeneous. So now, let us put our main three types of solution in these categories. So true solution goes in the category of homogeneous solution. True solution are the only category for homogeneous solution. But these two, that is our colloids and suspension, are from heterogeneous. These belongs to heterogeneous solution. Now, if you know that, as I said, that both suspension and colloidal solution are heterogeneous, then what is the difference between these two, right? Because both will be non-uniform. So what happens is, this colloid have an interesting characteristic. It seems something else, but actually it is something else. The colloids appears to be homogeneous, but are actually heterogeneous, right? So now let us study about the difference between suspension and colloid, which are the category of heterogeneous solution, right? So let's go. So The categories of heterogeneous solution are suspension and colloid, right? These are suspension and colloids. Now what is the difference between these two, as both these are heterogeneous, right? So what will happen is, in suspensions, if this is a solution, the substance which is mixed in it will eventually, if you will keep it as it is, means keep it still, if you will keep the solution, if you will keep the suspension still for some time, you will see that after some time the particle that you mixed are eventually settled down at the bottom, and you can clearly identify a precipitate. Means if you are making a sand solution, right, or a chalk powder, if you are mixing chalk powder in water, you will see that after some time the sand or the chalk powder is settled down at the bottom, and the water will be above, and the sand or chalk powder is settled down at the bottom. So this is an example of heterogeneous solution. Now what is colloid? In colloid, you can see, means you can identify the particles but it will not settle down at the bottom. It will keep on moving, means it will keep on roaming in the solution. Milk doesn't settle down at the bottom, it makes the colloidal solution, right? It makes the colloidal solution, milk doesn't settle down at the bottom. So this is the basic difference between the homogeneous and heterogeneous solution. Homogeneous are our true solution and heterogeneous are colloids and suspension. The basic difference between colloid and suspension I have told you already. Now we will see a comparative study. The basic difference is that how can we identify that whether a solution is a true solution, a colloidal or a suspension, right? So let's go and do the comparative study of these three. Let's go. So now let us do the comparative study of the types of solution, that is true solution, suspension and colloid. We will see the basic distinction between these three types of solution. So first is the very basic that I have already told you, that these are homogeneous, these are heterogeneous, these are also heterogeneous, right? But here you can mention one thing, that these appears to be homogeneous, right? These appears homogeneous but are actually heterogeneous. Second is the particle size. Now this is a very important and basic difference that actually make them different. The particle size of true solution is less than 1 nanometer or up to 1 nanometer. The particle size of suspension is actually very large. It is around from 100 to 1000 nanometers. And the particle size of colloid is from 1 nanometer to 100 nanometer. Now let us understand the role of the particle size in making these types of solutions different. As the true solution has this particle size, very minute particle size, like when we mix sugar in water or salt in water, what happens? Their size is actually very small. That suppose this is water, right? This is water, and if you are adding sugar or salt in this solution, right? If you are adding sugar or salt in this solution, what will happen? Actually, these are very small that they get dissolved in this solution and get disappears, making them appear same as before, right? मतलब कि हम चीनी लेते हैं या नमक लेते हैं, उसमें उसको हम पानी में डालते हैं तो उनका साइज इतना छोटा होता है कि वो पानी में पूरी तरह से डिसॉल्व हो जाता है, तो वो उसका अपीयरेंस किसी भी तरीके से चेंज ही नहीं करता है, राइट? इट गेट टोटली डिसॉल्व्ड. नाउ व्हाट अबाउट कोलॉइड्स? कोलॉइड में क्या होता है? व्हाई दे अपीयर होमोजेनस? दैट इज आल्सो बेस्ड ऑन बिकॉज ऑफ द पार्टिकल साइज. इनकी साइज भी उतनी बड़ी नहीं होती है, राइट? दीज आर फ्रॉम थाउजेंड. फॉर एग्जांपल अगेन, this is a colloidal solution. Now I am adding milk in this, right? तो मिल्क जब इसमें ऐड होगा तो उसकी साइज अराउंड 1000 नैनोमीटर है, तो उसका वेट भी ज्यादा हैवी नहीं होगा, तो इट विल नॉट सेटल डाउन एट द बॉटम and it will keep on moving in the solution. That is why it appears to be homogeneous. That is why the milk solution appears cloudy, right? Now what about suspension? In suspension, the size of the particle is way too large and heavy too. So what will happen? For some time these particles will move within the solution, but as it is kept undisturbed for some time, it will eventually settle down at the bottom, right? Its size particle is actually very large. That is why, and based on the size only, the true solution does not show Tyndall effect. They does not show Tyndall effect, right? Colloid solution up to some extent. Up to some extent they show Tyndall effect, right? And what about heterogeneous solution? Means about suspension, they show very high Tyndall effect. Means very best Tyndall effect is shown by suspension only. Why? Because their particle size is so large. That is why they scatter more light. Now, to understand this, you need to know what is Tyndall effect, right? I am talking about the scattering. So, these were all about the comparative study of true solution, suspension and colloid. I hope you all have understood, right? It is actually very important, and these are the only important points that you need to remember about the true solution, suspension and colloid. Now, one more important thing about suspension is, when you centrifuge a suspension, right, the particle will very gradually settle down at the bottom, and you can see these particles with your naked eyes. Now what happens in colloid? In colloids also, when you centrifuge it, it will eventually settle down at the bottom, but you can't see the particles with your naked eyes, right? For example, blood is actually a colloidal solution, right? So what will happen is, when you centrifuge the blood cells will eventually settle down at the bottom, but you can't see. Can you see those cells with your naked eyes? Because the particle size is from 1 nanometer to 100 nanometer, you can't see it with your naked eyes. But what happens in suspension actually? The particle size is actually very large, so that is why the settled down particles are clearly visible to our naked eyes, right? So now let us learn about the Tyndall effect in detail so that you can understand this comparative chart in a more better way and know the role that why suspension and colloids are showing Tyndall effect but also with different extent, and why true solution is not showing Tyndall effect. So be with me, and here comes a very interesting experiment too. So let us first see that experiment, right? So let's go to the experiment. So, did you wonder what happened in these three solutions? Why was the passage of light, the scattering of light different in all the three solutions when I performed it in the dark room? Do you want to know what is it a magic or the science behind it? Then be with me and I will show you what happened actually. तो हमारे पास यहाँ पर 3 सॉल्यूशन है और इसी एक्सपेरिमेंट से हम एक बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग साइंस का एक्सपेरिमेंट समझने जा रहे हैं, एक केमिस्ट्री का एक फेनोमेना समझने जा रहे हैं जो क्लास 9th के सिलेबस में है एंड दैट इज एक्चुअली वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट एंड इंटरेस्टिंग। सो बी विद मी। तो यहाँ पे मैंने 3 सॉल्यूशन लिए हैं। पहला होगा हमारा ट्रू सॉल्यूशन। ट्रू सॉल्यूशन मीन्स होमोजेनियस मिक्सचर। तो उसके लिए मैं इसमें सॉल्ट ऐड करूंगी, राइट। I have salt. I am adding in it. Some more I am adding. Right? So here we are, and now we are ready with our true solution. That is the salt and water solution. It is a homogeneous mixture. You can see that salt is totally dissolved in this mixture, in the water now. Now we have our second solution. This is the water and milk solution. So the solution of water in milk or the solution of milk with water is the colloidal solution, right? And our third mixture, and this will be the suspension. Suspension, right? So it is, I am going to add the chalk powder in the water and I am going to make the heterogeneous mixture, right? So here I am, I have prepared 3 types of solutions, that is the true solution, the colloidal and the suspension. So now I am going to show you the effect of scattering. So first of all understand, see, I have taken 3 solutions here, the true solution, the homogeneous mixture of salt and water, the colloidal solution, the milk and water solution, the colloidal solution. This is also heterogeneous. And the third solution, that is suspension. This is also a heterogeneous mixture, but this is suspension. Now what is the difference? What is the difference between, how do we classify that which is a true solution, which is suspension, which is colloid? Basically, true solution have the particle size of less than or up to 1 nanometer. The colloids have the particle size of up to from 1 nanometer to 100 nanometer. And particles of up to the size of 1000 nanometer are called the solution, are called the suspension, right? So based on the size of particle, we define the solutions into 3 types, that is true solution, colloid and suspension. Now the effect of scattering of light is also different in all the 3 types of solution. Now we are going to see the effect of light scattering and the very important phenomena we are going to discuss through this experiment. So be with me and let's begin with the experiment, alright? Now, first of all, let us see the scattering of light through this true solution. That was the salt and water solution, right? See, when I am placing the light is getting very minimal scattered. Right? It is not at all getting scattered, right? Can you see? Right? Now, see. Now, what is this? This here I have taken the suspension, the solution with the largest particle size, right? See, it is showing the maximum scattering, right? Can you see the difference? Right? Here I have taken the colloidal solution, that is the milk and water solution. Now see the scattering of light. It is more than the true solution but less than the colloidal solution. But the size of the colloidal solution is up to 100 nanometer. So this is all about the Tyndall effect, right? So hope you enjoyed this experiment, right? So wasn't it interesting enough to see this experiment and understanding and to see it very naturally how the scattering of light is different in all the 3 types of solutions, that is true solution, suspensions as well as colloids. Let me tell you that what this interesting phenomena is called. So this is nothing but the very interesting Tyndall effect, right? So now what is Tyndall effect? Tyndall effect is actually the scattering of light through different media or through different solution, like as I have shown you in this experiment, through true solution, through colloids, or through suspension. How actually these different solutions are responsible for experiencing the Tyndall effect, and some real life example we will also. So to understand some real life examples of Tyndall effect, let's go to understand the Tyndall effect and the types of solution in detail, right? So let's go. So hope you all have understood the experiment, right? So in that experiment, I have talked about the three types of solution that I already told you. What are these types of solution? How are they different? The main difference is based on the size that you need to remember. Now let us learn the Tyndall effect in detail. So what is actually Tyndall effect? Tyndall effect is actually the phenomena of scattering of light. It is a scattering of light through different solutions. Scattering of light through different solutions. So now let me first tell you the real life example of Tyndall effect. Suppose this is a very dark room, right? This is a very dark room. And a slit is open of light. So what you will see, the light will enter. Suppose this is that small slit. The light will enter and you will see very small particles like this. Have you ever observed this? Right? Can you see this? Have you ever observed this phenomena? This is Tyndall effect, the scattering of light. These particles scatters light. So the more and more will be the size of the particle, more and more will be the scattering. Small particles don't have the capability or ability to scatter light. That is why the true solutions are unable to show Tyndall effect. So what happens in the case of true solution? Suppose this is a true solution, totally uniform, right? The particles are not visible which are mixed in. So when the light will enter, it will pass down and it will not scatter, right? The particles are way too small, so the particles in it are actually very small. When the light will enter, they are actually very small that the light cannot be scattered by this. मतलब क्या होता है आप समझ रहे हो कि if a very large or fast wave of water is coming, right, and a very small stone is present as obstacle, do you think that it will actually it is actually capable of diverting it? No, it doesn't have the capability. That same thing is happening here. The particle size is way too small than the light. So मतलब अगर आप माइक्रोस्कोपिक वे में देखो इसको, राइट, तो क्या हो रहा है, ये लाइट रे है, ठीक है, एक्चुअली में उतनी चौड़ी नहीं होगी, ये लाइट रे है और ये इसको स्कैटर, क्या आपको लगता है कि ये पार्टिकल अब इसका वे इसको ऑब्स्टेकल कर पाएगा, मतलब इसका वे डाइवर्ट कर पाएगा? नहीं, ऐसा नहीं होगा, राइट? So that is happening in the true solution. Now we will see the Tyndall effect in colloidal solution. In colloidal solution, what happens? The particles of at least 100 nanometer up to 100 nanometer size are present, and the light rays coming. So these colloidal solutions can scatter light up to some extent because they are of a bit larger size. That is why. Now what is happening? These are the particles and this is the light ray coming, right? So now these are able to scatter light up to some extent. This is what you see in your dark room, right? That is why they are able to scatter the light to some extent. But now let's see the solution where the maximum Tyndall effect is seen, right? सस्पेंशन में क्या होगा? सस्पेंशन में हमारा सोल्यूशन है और इसमें पार्टिकल साइज एक्चुअली बहुत बड़ी है, तो जितना बड़ा पत्थर होगा उतना ज्यादा ऑब्स्टिकल करेगा, उतनी ज्यादा पानी की डायरेक्शन को चेंज करने में वो कैपेबल होगा, राइट? तो अब लाइट रे आ रही है और सबसे ज्यादा स्कैटर हो रही है, सबसे ज्यादा स्कैटरिंग हो रही है लाइट की, राइट? सबसे ज्यादा स्कैटरिंग हो रही है. द मैक्सिमम स्कैटरिंग, द मैक्सिमम टिंडल इफेक्ट विल बी शोन, राइट? तो अब हो क्या रहा है? ये पार्टिकल है और ये लाइट आ रही है. पूरा का पूरा डैम हमने बंद कर दिया है, तो क्या होगा? पानी में ही रुक जाएगा या फिर सबसे ज्यादा उसका वेव डाइवर्ट हो जाएगा जितना बड़ा पत्थर उसके रास्ते. So maximum diversion will be shown, right? Are you getting what I want to say? So this is Tyndall effect. So that is why suspensions, because of their particle size, show the maximum Tyndall effect. The maximum Tyndall effect is shown by suspension. Up to some extent, Tyndall effect is shown in colloids as well. But true solution does not show Tyndall effect, that is, it does not scatter light. So now I want you all guys to write in the comment section the answers to the question that I asked you earlier. So hope you all have understood. Let us conclude the lecture today. Take care, bye bye. And yeah, if you liked our session, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel. Keep visiting us. And yeah, once again, thanks for visiting our channel Chariot Tutorial, where knowledge leads the way. Thank you, take care, bye bye, keep studying.